People whispered about the Culvers after what happened, stolen glances in the street, whispered words in church during another fire and brimstone sermon. Everybody seemed to have something to say, but nobody had the courage to say it to their faces. That was how the town was back then. I wouldn't exactly call it the good old days, but things were much better than they are now. Well, much better for everyone except the Culvers. Very few people can say they attended the funeral of that little boy, although if you listen to the folks talking after a few drinks, they would have you believe the whole town was there. The truth of the matter was that the Culvers were strangers back then. A small family that had decided on a whim to drop everything and move to a small town in the middle of nowhere to start their lives over. Sure, they were friendly enough at first. Their son was as precocious as my young boy. Their daughter a beauty in the eyes of everybody who saw her. She was going to grow up to be a heartbreaker, that much was obvious. It was taken away from them in one moment of stupidity. The blame was passed around, of course, as people are wont to do in situations where a young life is taken needlessly and somebody needs to be held accountable. Perhaps his father should have kept an eye on him and not let him wander. Perhaps the sheriff should have made sure the cell was more secure before putting a town drunk in there to sleep it off. Perhaps the pastor should have kept his horse tied more securely outside the saloon. Or perhaps when people are in church they should spend more of their time praying and less time gossiping, so maybe when those storm clouds roll overhead, God does not turn a blind eye on his flock. Either way, when they found that young boy's body, it was smashed and broken like a rag doll that had been chewed by a wolf. The way people tell it, there was really not that much left to bury. Nobody expected that on that day they put the little boy in the ground, the Culvers would lose their daughter as well. One minute she was standing there watching her father fill in the grave, and the next minute she was gone, leaving nothing but dusty footprints that disappeared into the trees. They looked for her, make no mistake about it. The whole town hunted. But after a week of searching, it was hard to look the Culvers in the eye, knowing full well that that beautiful girl was dead. They never found a body, but they didn't really need to. There was no mistaking what happened. It was another one of those things that just needs to be accepted. The Culvers never gave up looking for their daughter, and right up until the day he died, he was out in those hills calling her name. There was that misguided hope that eventually drove his wife into the arms of another man and sent him nightly to the bottom of a bottle. But some would say that it was also the misguided hope that kept him alive. People are cruel. It is in their nature to want the misery of others, under the belief that their lot in life must be better if someone else is suffering worse. That is what started the whispered words and the gossip. To say that I was not a part of it would be shameful a lie, because I was the one that started the rumour. I was the one that whispered the first words that sent the Culvers back out into those hills, day after day, looking for some trace of their daughter. I was the one that made them believe she was still alive. I was the one that described every detail of her dress, the colour of her hair, every blemish that marked her pale, milky skin. I made them believe I'd spotted her wandering alone in the hills, crying, looking for her brother. She was alive when I first told someone that I had seen her. I forgot a lot of things about the day I took her from the churchyard. I forgot what she was wearing. I forgot the colour of her hair. Was she the perfect, beautiful angel my mind makes her out to be? I cannot be certain anymore. I do remember one thing. When I killed her, she was crying for her brother.